Alright, so I got another video here on turtle mode, and I haven't done one of these in, I think, 7 years. I did one 7 years ago. If you guys saw that original video 7 years ago, let me know in the comments if you're one of the OGs on the channel. So, of course, everyone should know what turtle mode is. If you haven't, I'll link that video in the description, but in case you don't, let's do a little refresher here. Say you're flying along and you've crashed. Right? You're going to disarm. You're going to turn on turtle mode on a switch. You're going to arm. You're going to hit one of these sticks here and try and flip it over. There we go. And then you're going to you're going to disarm, turn turtle mode off, and then you're going to rearm again and take off. So a lot of steps there. There's people that can do this sort of, dance of switches and arming and disarming and flipping very quickly, especially if you know anyone that does tiny whip racing. They know this song and dance very well. They can do it very quickly. Sometimes I can, but not always. And so I wanted to find a better way of doing it, maybe doing it a little bit faster. So let me show you a method that I discovered. Okay, so again, same situation. We're flipped over, we're armed, we're going to disarm. I'm going to hit this button here. It's a momentary switch. And I'll flip it over. So it does this little momentary switch here actually turns turtle mode on, arms, and then disarms right away. And then you can then go ahead and rearm and take off. Alright, so let me demonstrate this without talking and making it a lot slower. So okay, we're armed, we crashed, we're flipped over, disarm, and we're off again. That literally took, I don't know, a second and a half. So let me show you what you need to do to set this up. You will need to know how to do some EdgeTX or OpenTX programming. And the other thing that you will need that's required is a radio with a momentary switch. So without a momentary switch, I don't think this is possible in this method. I might be mistaken. Someone thinks that they can do it without a momentary switch. Let me know. But I like having the momentary switch. You can just press and hold it, which activates the turtle mode without having to do all the whole arm and disarm dance. And then you just hit the sticks and flip it over, and then let go of the momentary switch, and then you can arm and fly again. So that literally takes like 1 or 2 seconds, versus the whole thing I showed you at the beginning with the old method of doing all the switches and stuff. So let's show you what's going on here inside the channels of the radio, and then I'll show you how to set it up. I'm going to set up my new pocket. This is my old pocket, and I'm going to set up the new pocket here. Obviously, we're going to be on this tiny little black and white screen, and for those of you that are thinking this is like completely alien, we will do it on the T15 with the touch screen. For those of you that, I know there's people that don't know how to use the radio when it looks like this, and they only know how to use the radio when it's on a touchscreen. So we'll cover that as well for those of you that want to know how to do the programming on a touchscreen. Alright, so I just want to show you on the radio itself in the channel monitor what's going on. So obviously you have your channels here. Channel 1 is aileron, elevator channel 2, yaw is channel 4, throttle is channel 3, AETR standard setup there, and then we have on this particular radio, I have my arming on this switch here, which is SD, which is channel 8. And you can see that arms the quad. And then flip over to the second page here. I have a channel 9 that is this setup on this button here, the momentary switch, which is SE. And I have a little special function that plays that sound, says turtle mode on, plays the voice file, so then let me know that I'm using turtle mode. But you can see what channel 9 is doing here. It jumps up and then it comes back down. You can barely see that. You'll see it jumps up and then it goes back down. So it stays in the middle there, but it was more towards the top. And so this requires some additional, well, this is a special thing that I'm going to show you in terms of how it's set up, and then I'll show you how it's set up here, and then I'll actually program the other radio, and then the T15 as well. So basically, we're just going to go into, we'll exit out of here. We'll go into our model, and we got to go over to the mixer page, and then I'm going to go down to channel 9 here. And so I have basically, I forget what this is actually called. It's like a I have two different things set up here on this channel. And so one set it basically, the source is set to max. I'm going to go ahead and I'll edit this. So that first line, I'll have the source set to max. And then you go down to switch here. And the easiest way to set to SE is just to select this and then hold it down. You'll see it turns bold, and then press the scroll wheel again. That locks it in place. See, when it's not bold, it is in the up position. And when it's in the down position, when you're holding it, it turns bold. So that's going to be the first line. And then let's go ahead and exit out of there. So you'll have basically the first line there, and this second line obviously won't exist. You'll have to add that. I'll show you that when I actually do the setup, but I just want to show you what it looks like here. I'm going to edit this. The source will be SC, which again is the momentary switch. Is the source for that, and then we're going to set a weight here of -50. That's what causes it to basically jump up, and then this second part here makes it go down to about halfway. And there is a reason why it needs to be this way. I'll show you that in Betaflight. We'll go down over here. Again, set the switch to SC in the down position. And I added a delay there, so it's not, basically what it's doing, it's actually going to the max position to turn turtle mode on, and then there's a delay that drops the channel value down slightly. Again, that's that weight of -50. That drops the weight down, that drops the channel value down slightly, and then that's the part that has to correspond to arming. That's what does the turns the turtle mode on and arms at the same time. This is the little magic trick that does that. So that's why I put a little bit of delay in there. I think 0.1 is the smallest, obviously 0, but you don't want that because a Betaflight will get confused. You have to arm, and then you need a little bit of delay, and then you can turn turtle mode on. So obviously, if it's much faster than any human can do it, you're actually doing automation here, and that's why that little delay is. That's why you see it jumps up and then it pops back down. And I'll show you that in Betaflight as well. All right, so I got the Air 75 here hooked up to. Basically, it's a SpeedyBee app here that is basically looking like Betaflight. If you don't know what this is, let me know. I'll point you to that video. This is a very nice little tool to use, and you can use your phone to set up stuff. And I just want to show you what happens here on that channel. I think it is aux 5 right there. And so you'll see it jump up, and then it'll go down kind of in the middle there. So see that? And so when you go into the modes, so this is how you're going to set up your Betaflight modes. So for me, my arming is on aux 4, and this is aux 5, which is the turtle mode channel. But I also have it down over here. Okay, so over here you see it says flip over after crash. That's turtle mode, and you can see here it's on aux 5. And obviously you want that channel to stay within that range. And so when I hit this, you see the little tick here moves up, and then it moves down. So demonstrate a few more times. It'll move up and then down, and it stays in this range here. But at the same time, over here for arming, we want it to arm when channel 5 is in this range. So it'll go over here in channel 5, turn turtle mode on, and it'll stay on because it's within that same range. And then it'll come down here in this part of the range for arming. So it'll turn turtle mode on and then arm with the momentary switch. So you can see it'll channel 5 is right here. It'll jump up and then it'll stay in here and it'll be armed. This is the arming range right here. So that's how you have to set up your channel. So you're basically whatever aux channels you're using for your switches are going to be different for your radio. Obviously mine arming is on aux 4 and I have this momentary switch on aux 5. Your radio might be different, so adjust yours appropriately. But this is how basically Betaflight set up for this particular feature, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you how to set up the radio from scratch. Alright, so we're going to set it up on our new radio. We're going to go into the model settings, and we'll page over to the mixer page. And for me, we're going to set up channel 9 as the for that switch SE. So source will be max, weight 100, and then we're going to set the switch to SE down. And then we'll exit out. I'm going to add a second line here. Insert after. And then we'll set this source to switch SE. The weight needs to be -50 or around there. I would say anywhere between -50 and -60 should be okay, and then you can adjust your ranges in Betaflight accordingly. So we'll just go with -50, and again set the switch here to SE down, and we'll add a delay here of just to show that it'll show better if I set to half a second. And I think that's it. Exit out of here. Should look like that with 2 lines on channel 9, exactly as you see there. And when we exit out under the channel monitor here on channel 9, you can see it jumps to 100 and then comes down to 50. That's the behavior you want to see when you are pressing the momentary switch, SE 100, and then down to 50. So this is set up here. That's all you got to do, and then adjust all your Betaflight stuff accordingly as I showed earlier. All right, for those of you that only know how to use the touchscreen, here's the touchscreen version of that. So we'll go to, so for example, just go to a channel monitor here. I have this radio set up a little bit differently. I did a video where I switched these switches here. This was previously the momentary switch here on, what is this, SF. I made this the latching switch, and then this one here is now the momentary switch, which is SE. On a standard T15, these are reversed. You have to actually open the radio up to switch this way, so be aware that my radio is customized. So I have SF here, my arming on channel 5, and SE, the momentary switch here, is on channel 8, as you can see here in the channel monitor. Alright, so we'll go into the model settings here, and go to the mixes page. I'm going to go down here and you see that channel 8 is on SE. Going to edit this. Going to set that channel to max. There it is. And under the switch, I'm going to press that SE down. There we go. And then we'll go back out. And then we'll go ahead and we're going to add that second line to channel 8. Insert after. And then the source here is going to be SE down. And then the switch. You can hold down the SE switch like that. And then we're going to change the weight here. Alright, so we have it set to -50. And that should be it. Alright, so it should look like that. Oh, I forgot to put the delay in there, so I'll edit. And I think it's under this settings here. And then we'll add a delay half a second. Alright, there we go. So then we go out of this, bring up the channel monitor, and under channel 8 there we go. So it's 100% and then 50%. That's the behavior you'll see. So you can see it also shows you the channel value. It's like 1750. That should be approximately where you want to have your range there for Betaflight, as I showed you earlier. And again, you can adjust that 50 to something higher if you feel like. It's just whatever you feel like. It's all up to you. And that's pretty much it. So again, very similar setup here for the touchscreen radio. And again, that's the behavior you want. That's pretty much going to do it for this tutorial here. So if you got any questions, comments, etc., let me know down in the comment section. That'll do it for this video. Talk to you guys in the next one.